Blessings, blessings. How are you guys? That was my little intro because we did go down to the tax lien sale in Fulton County in Georgia and got a few clips. Okay, so the tax lien sale actually took place December the 3rd. They have one every first Tuesday of the month. So, what I want to do is to prepare you guys for the New Year's tax lien sale that they will be hosted in Fulton County. If you don't remember, we went into Henry County. Okay, if you haven't seen that, please flash back and look at that video. We went into the tax lien sale list, looked at some properties, and we went down there to show you the courthouse where they have it at and caught some good clips. So again, we're going to be going to different auctions around the state of Georgia to break down the information for you guys. Okay, and if you don't know, I am Lashley. I'm a real estate legal consultant. And if anyone haven't seen me, let me give you my little spiel. I'm a legal nursing consultant by trade, so I have been trained how to research law. And because I have been investing in the tax lien and tax deed process for the last 6 years, I have come up with a program and a series of seminars to help any investor in the real estate market understand how to do your due diligence. And everybody's like, why? Why? Because as a consultant, a real estate legal consultant, I receive a lot of calls about issues of transferring deeds, little mistakes, and even big mistakes. So sometimes before they go to an actual lawyer, they will come to me and I will show them the law behind their issue and present to them some avenues that they may can take, and they will decide if they can do it pro se themselves or actually go to a lawyer and have them complete the action. This is what I specialize in outside of investing in tax liens and tax deeds myself, because that's what I love to do. Okay. Also, I'm getting into building this year, so we're going to be sharing that experience with you guys in real time. I'm going to be building my first little property by myself, and you guys are going to be coming down that journey with me. Okay. We do have people who have been following us for a couple of years now, and they have seen the progression. And what we do is share what I do is share my investments with you, as well as make sure you guys are safe in investing. So what I do is what the average tax lien expert says they're going to do. This is what I do on every live. There's a lot of seminars that comes up that say, hey, let me teach you how to get into tax lien. It's a 3-hour seminar, and it breaks down pretty much the things that I break down to you every week and send you on your way. Okay. And after you notice that there's some holes in those seminars, I'm the person that you come to help you iron out and fill out all those holes. Okay. So we're going to show you about that later on, doing your due diligence. But I'm going to show you in this broadcast what you can see in the average tax lien seminar that you see coming up in your average feed. And I have been sharing this with people for years. And I don't mean to pull the lid off of some people's seminars, but because I'm, it really bothers me how many people we have to consult that has half of information or little of information, and they go into an investment and then have to troubleshoot issues. It becomes very alarming. So this is why I make sure that I show you what you learn from these other gurus, and then I point you in the direction to make sure you do your due diligence and you are safe. Okay, so let's get to it. Now, in Fulton County, I wanted to go over this article. This article just highlights this was in 2023. Now, I want to highlight this article because when I first got into the tax lien and tax deed process, there were some people that were very skeptical of it, especially people coming from the minority basis, as well as people coming from lower income that has suffered from the loss of home. They're like, hey, that's a shark. You're a shark. You're taking people's property, this, that, and the third. And I do understand where that concept come from. We're going to go into this article so you can see where that concept come from. And I'm going to tell you how through my program, I am combating that. okay? Because we're not here to teach people how to take other people's property. We're here to teach you how to be safe investors and enter the market from a realm that they really don't want you to enter, because a lot of people are locked out. Now let's get to this article. Now this is an old article. You know, I like to keep things within the year, but this was something that I found interesting. Investigation: Fulton's property tax collection ensures Black families' homes and wealth. So this is something that affects a lot of communities, especially lower income. So I want you guys to listen. Georgia law gives every tax commissioner the choice. When people don't pay their taxes, the commissioner can't collect debt on their own, or they can't let investors do it for them. And that's us, the tax lien and tax deed investors. Of all of the counties in Georgia, possibly only one, Fulton County, takes investors up on the offer. A lot of counties participate. So let's just see what they're trying to say here. The practice can be a quick way to shore up the county's budget, but the policies comes at a cost. It puts investors in charge of processes that can end with residents losing their homes. Okay? So, a WAB investigation now shows the harmful results for Black families. The property tax auction in Fulton counties happen monthly, always the first Tuesday. The date, and I want to make sure I said the first Tuesday, not the second earlier. Okay, please excuse me if I said the second, but I think I said the first Tuesday. But correct me if I'm wrong. The day can be exciting for investors. Dozens gathers around the courthouse, standing shoulders to shoulders on the step and spilling out onto the sidewalk and streets. So that's what we showed you earlier in the clips. As the sheriff staff list off properties behind on taxes and handful shots out offers, most only observed and taken notes. The tax auction has become known as a place where investors can get a good deal. Videos all over social medias promotes this. In one, the real estate agent, Miss Keisha Thomas, pitches people on her tax sale training. So this is Keisha Thomas, and I was just talking about that. Shares what happens when she got her brother to bid. The minimum bid for property is the amount owed. Her brother, Mr. Gantz, didn't have to offer much for the home in the city of Atlanta. He paid $3,100. It's the real deal, Gentle says, smiling with her sister as the two walked away from the courthouse. No mortgage, downtown Atlanta. But the other side of the tax auction looked different. My mom absolutely did not want to leave that house. This is the side Alicia Thomas knows. The property the man in the video bought belongs to her. Thomas said her mom inherited the home, actually in the northwest Atlanta neighborhood called Dix Hills, where her husband had been in his family for about 60 years. In the 20 years, her mom and stepdad lived in the home. They redid the floors, renovated the kitchen, they built the deck, and grew flowers out front. They did put a lot of work into it and feel very, very proud of it, Thomas said. Her mom thought the home would be a blessing. An Atlanta native, she had rented her whole life. She's now 70. Thomas said the home was the first she ever owned. So my mom absolutely did not want to leave the house, she said. Obtained years by delinquent tax collection data includes all property auctions for tax lien in Fulton County between 2015 to 2022. That amount to more than 3,200 parcels. So Fulton County is a very high volume tax lien sale area, as well as Clayton County. Okay. Among the properties considered residential, according to the county land use code, 80% were in the census traits that were decided had decades have been more. I do apologize. The census tracts that of decades have been mostly Black. It was shocking to see the disparity it was, said Atlanta legal authority Stacey Reynolds, who worked for years to save people homes from tax auctions. I certainly had enough clients that are in these areas, but assume that they are more in the areas that did not come to us. These tracts only contain about 30% of the residential properties in the county. So basically, it says Fulton trade off. There are several factors that could contribute to this disparity. So we're not going to get into that, but what I will say, I want to clarify something, because this is true, and this is one of the reasons why I felt it was so important to construct a basic tax lien course online for the average person to know how to invest. I learned the tax lien and deed process through tragedy, as I mentioned, if you guys a flashback, but I learned the trick of the trade from lawyers. Okay. So what that goes to say, at that time, about 6 7 years ago, there was a high volume of lawyers that were into the tax lien realm, and this was not always by greed but by force. As I mentioned, some people will get to the last result, and when the property is in litigation, they would get the property transferred over to the lawyer, hold in trust, and the lawyer will hold the deed. Literally, basically, the lawyer would be the first lien holder, instead of it actually going out to the public and going to the auction. In many cases, the counties would agree with that, and then that would give the homeowner time to actually play their lawyer back to get that property. But a lot of lawyers end up with a lot of inventory, and they did not want to be homeowners, but some do, because I know a lot of tax lien lawyers, that, well, a few um, great, smart tax lien lawyers in Maryland who's been in it for years, because this is a prominent business for them, okay, because of their clients who were in foreclosure. So, with that goes to say, I make a lot of videos on secure your energy to kind of reverse the ties. That's why I make sure that we keep our commentary very diverse here. We went into squatters laws, and we went to into how to mitigate when you're going through foreclosures. This is one of the things that we went through, and the reason why I went through it, because as tax lien and deed investors as well, we're on the other side of that as investors, and we need to know how to handle a person who's in a home, a property that is occupied. I explained to you guys that it's an extra step that you have to take, which is an eviction step, but that can be very harsh to people. So sometimes investors, what they do, and I'm just throwing things out there, is that they get in contact with the homeowner and they negotiate different things. I.e., example, sometimes they will give the homeowner $5,000 to say, hey, if you move out with no, issues, then you will get $5,000. And I know people like, huh? And that becomes a benefit for the homeowner that's losing the property, because you have to think of the situation. They cannot pay their taxes. They're probably back on other bills based on circumstances or whatever it may be. But that right there gives you negotiation skills and negotiation room, as well as give the homeowner some room to have some leeway. These are some of the things that I talk about within my seminars, outside of my seminars, because it's not always a dog eat dog world. This is what I focus on with the students who take my course, because we are the actual people who are losing the homes, because that's the one these are the people who I cater to. I teach you the method of how to, mitigate those risk factors. One of the things that can mitigate this is the homeowner getting in early with their mortgage company and talking to them about having issues paying. That's one of the first things. Start the negotiation early, before they even get to the point that it's back taxes. Also, what I recommend, and just to throw out there, when people say bankruptcy, oh my God, bankruptcy. Sometimes bankruptcy can be really good, because people who don't know how to manage their money, in the bankruptcy procedure, you have a trustee, and that trustee is over your account. And what they will do is negotiate with all the creditors and everything that you owe, and get it to a point that you can actually pay it. And usually, when you do file, I think it's chapter 7 bankruptcy. Don't quote me, it's 7, and I think business is 11. Um, when you do file this form of bankruptcy, it allows you room to pay up to 25% off of your income towards the debt, and get you back into a savings and payment plan. So people do that, and that's some of the things I bring up to my students, because that can be kind of a El Stapo for us. If we happen to invest in a property that's already in litigation in bankruptcy court, and it happened to get on the payroll of the tax lien roll, and we invest in this, that, and the third, it's going to either be negotiation to return our money without interest, or a prolonged until it's actually addressed. But you will get your money back. Not all the time with the interest, but you will get your money back. So these are some of the things that we actually point out. And I'm saying this is because I really would like you guys to recommend this platform. We have a lot of diverse information. It's not just about investing in tax liens and tax deeds. It's actually understanding the real estate process to protect you. We also go into escrow accounts. I have a video about that. We're going to be re-uploading some things that didn't get a lot of play, but it was very important as the time applied. But we talked about what's the escrow account, how to negotiate contracts, what to read in your actually mortgage contract. What is the difference between it's right at the tip of my tongue. A fixed interest rate and a non-fixed interest rate. I do apologize. And the importance of knowing about that, knowing about the do it clause, sayings that can be in your mortgage loan agreement that you should be aware of, because the due on clause can put you in a bad situation. So these are some of the things that I want you guys to pay attention to. So I found that article very interesting because it is two sides to the game. And this is not the first time that I have brought this up, that it is another side to this. And I actually have helped people, understand what realm they were in when it comes to foreclosures and what may be their option. Sometimes you could be going through a foreclosure process or be a renter. And, I just got to throw that out there to help people. And, keep asking for mitigation for a few times. I know it prolonged, but then you can find issues in the administrative process. And that's why I tell people, our students, if you don't move forward properly, and let's say, for instance, you moving forward on you obtain the property on a foreclosure, you have the deed, but it's occupied. You may put them on notice, but in that state or that county, they mandate mitigation, and you didn't set up a time for mitigation. Then it's time you get to court and the person say, well, they never set up mitigation. We could have tried to work something out. Give me some time. And then the judge is going to be like, back to mitigation, So this is why it's important for you to know the laws and know the processes too, to make things go as smooth as possible. Does that make sense? All right, so let's get to the subject at hand. Thank you for letting me share that with you. If you like the information I share with you, please hit the like button. We are here and we're about to go to Fulton County in Georgia. So I did mention that the tax lien sale was on the 3rd. We did miss that one, but I did get clips for you guys so you can guys to see what that article was kind of talking about. You see the people crowded around there, and they're nothing but investors out there. Okay, so this has not been updated yet because we're only a week after the tax lien sale. But the great thing is that you're going to see some key information I want to highlight. It's a lot. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through, and this is what you will actually learn at these seminars that they have you sign up for. And say, let me teach you how to buy tax liens. And then you come to me and be like, well, I didn't do my due diligence. They didn't teach me how to read the deed. So we're going to get into all of this, and then I'm going to show you where you're going to learn your skill building. Okay. Now, this right here is the it's under sheriff office tax sale. So sometimes it can be confusing. And I think it's named like this because when you actually go to the Fulton County courthouse, you will see that it's a few different sales that go on. So sometimes it'll be the first tax lien sale, then it'll be the foreclosure sale. Then, as I mentioned to you, in Henry County, it was auction.com. Now, I don't remember seeing auction.com down in Fulton County, but there were two different sales going on that day because the tax lien list was so short. It was just like over in a minute, and everybody else there was for the foreclosure sale. Okay, the sheriff's sale, which is a little different. And we're going to kind of go into that. So tax lien sale, this is a tax lien sale. This is talking about the December 3rd sheriff levy sale. So please understand the wording could be interchangeable depending on the county and the state. That's why we actually have a directory for you guys. We have a little dictionary with our course so you can kind of understand the lingo is interchangeable. Don't get too crazy when you talk to these people and you're like, well, I need the over-the-counter list. And they're like, what? and maybe they call it a residual property list, so you just want to kind of read the frequent asked questions, kind of see their lingo, and then you talk to the people you need to obtain it. So the courtesy list of the property for the sale is available in the Wednesday edition of the South Fulton neighboring paper for 4 weeks prior to the Tuesday sale. Each advertisement show the owner's name, description, property to be sold, and it's according to this law. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're not going to go into registration yet, but I just want to show you, because we're going to go into registration. I think I have shown you that. So right here is actually the newspaper. It takes you right to the newspaper, and as I mentioned to you guys, in many lives, you have 4 weeks, up to 4 to 6 weeks to do your research. 6 weeks, I say, because if you're from out of state, or even if you're in state looking into another county, you want to take the first 2 weeks to look into the county, see what they have to offer. Is it the area that you want? Colleges or commodities, fishing, whatever. You take the first week to figure that out, and also how you're going to possibly put boots on the ground if you're not in state. Okay, you want to build some connections out there. So what you'll do is go to the public notice section here, and hold on. It says view public notice. Okay, so here in view public notice, you gotta just kind of click around. You'll go down into foreclosures. So this should have a list of the ones that they're gonna be having, and this is 4 weeks prior to the one that's coming up. So we're kind of getting ready for the one coming up, but we're doing a flashback as well. So you can see right here some information about, it says Houston Home Journal, South Fulton neighboring. Okay. Fayette County News. Okay, these are a few places that have foreclosure notices. Houston, South Fulton neighbors. So we want to go to South Fulton. This Clayton County. If you want to look at Clayton County foreclosures, I told you that's a very active. They have other counties that they host in here. So let's just look into South. All right. Let's see what they have. I haven't looked at this, guys, and thank you that this thing is not. Well, you're going to have to read it like a paragraph. Okay, so let me see if I can get the first bit down. I want to see an individual with the Unified Bank dated. I just want to get to the nitty gritty for you so you can see how to read this. Is that music still playing? Is my music still playing? Hold on one second. This is kind of set up weird because it's online, but I want to get to see if I can just. In Georgia, being more practically described. So this is the name. This is in the city of Atlanta, the property known formerly as 1115 Loden Place. They give a description about it. At the beginning, they talk about the foreclosure notice, because these are foreclosure notice from the bank or people who have a whole security in the deed. The principal amount of the note says $61,000 right here. I'm kind of just skimming this. I would assume that this is the court notice. This is 2021, or maybe that could be the parcel. Okay, yeah, this is the parcel number, was 2021-029287. Now, this information I'm throwing out to you is researchable information. That's why it's important. And it gives you the book and bonds page number. So the guys who took my course understand what this is used for, because this will be used when you're looking for the deed information. They give you this. You can find this information prior to even thinking about investing. So when you look at the deed information, you want to look for issues. You want to make sure everything is good. You can go back 85 years. It should be on public notice, and it's very easy. So the principal amount here is about $61,000 with interest. And you will be able to look up this property information because we said I think it's Larson Place in Fulton County, Georgia. And they give the legal description of it. And that you can look at that legal description and compare it to the deed information. I'm dropping a lot of gems on you guys. And then you just continue to read down this article and you'll see the listing of the other properties that they have now. Please take a note that it is very early and it's still 4 weeks from the actual tax lien sale. But these are some of the things that you look for when you're doing your due diligence. And this is what we offer in our program for you to give the training to look for this as you just initially doing your research. You can jot this down, book and page number. This is the parcel. This is where it's located. Now we're about to start looking for maps. This, that, and the third, because you want to start looking to these properties early. That's just if you're going in early, we're showing you the newspapers that you can find and you can use. That actual newspaper as well, it is good to use to look for the other counties. If we can go back, it's good to find other counties out here in Georgia. So georgiapublicnotice.com. So this is georgiapublicnotice.com for the people who are interested in investing in Georgia. So let's go back. We're going to kind of think this make it easy for me. Now this is where you are registered. But what we want to do is look at the December 3rd list. And I want you to see two things. Now, after you look at the list, and let's say the list that we was just looking at, this was actually for this month coming up. Okay, we looked in the newspaper like, hey, okay. And then 2 weeks after that, the list is generated. Now, you would have to check back on the list more than one time. And the reason why I say that is because the list is updated. Now, this list right here, if you see, is a Fulton County list. This was the list for the third cell. It's 1 to 9 pages, and that's one of the first thing I noticed, because when I looked at the next list, I was blessed to be able to still pull up both. At the top of this PDF, you'll see that this says Sheriff Cell first website posting. So you want to know what you're looking at, the most up-to-date list, because while you're doing your due diligence, it may be a time that it's updated and removed off the list because people do pay their taxes. So that was the first list. We're going to remove that off the screen, and we're just going to go to the second list. Okay, just to show you a difference. Yeah. So again, you can see right at the top of this is say Sheriff Levy Cell second website posting. So that was an update, and it went down to 7 pages. So a few people pay their taxes. So this was most likely the most up-to-date list just before the tax lien sale that took place on 12/3. Okay. I have shown you guys plenty of times of how to look at properties. We are going to do that, but let's just go to the bidding information for the people who don't know about that now. In this particular post, because it needs to be updated because it just took place last week, it is saying that the registration is closed, but it's not. Individual wishing to bid for the Fulton County properties must pre-register. Registration will not be permitted the day of the sale. Registration opens each month on the day that the sale list and published. It's listed and published, okay? So registration, so when that sale is listed 2 weeks, it's going to be open. You see what I'm, so most likely the second or the third week, we're going to the third week of December. That's when you're going to look to register, okay? Each person who will be bidding on the property only needs to register once per tax sale. Oh, so you have to only needs to register once per tax sale. So you have to register each tax sale, it sounds like. Registration closed at 2 p.m. on the Monday prior to the tax sale. On the day of the sale, bidder sign in will begin at 8:30 a.m. and end at 9:45. If the Monday prior to the sale is a holiday, registration will be closed the Friday prior. So you need to be aware of that. Registration is not permitted the morning of the sale or registration online. You will need to confirm your registration prior to 9:45 the morning. So if you come late, you may not be able to participate. So they're giving you some hints on how it works that day. The bidding payment must be paid in full in the form of cashier check payable to Fulton County Sheriff Office. No money orders. They just want a cashier check only. The purchaser is required to complete a purchaser data sheet assessing to the fact that the certain property was purchased for the bidding price. So that's just saying that you assert to the price. Please check the email you enter on the form. So basically, you'll be using this registration right here The same license that you put in here will be the same license that you'll have to show in registration. And the good thing is that registration is free. Again, they have an EIN number. They do allow businesses to register. We talked about the importance of having a business as a real estate investor, no matter what type of real estate investor you are, because it allows you to have tax breaks and perks. Okay. So, if you haven't seen that, we did a few videos on taxes and real estate investors and the benefits, and it was very detail orientated. So we'll try to put it in the description for you guys. Now, okay, so that's the registration process. You should know that it's going to open in 2 weeks. So what we're still doing is each day or every 3 days, you will go to the newspaper and see if that listing is getting bigger and bigger. That big paragraph, but by the time you read it, you'll probably get the flow of it, and then you'll be able to distinguish that it's a few houses in there. Sorry, it looks like that, but usually other newspapers have them in, different boxes. But hey, that's Fulton County for you. I got to give it to them. So we showed you the two difference of the list. We showed you the registration, and it was some more things that I wanted to show you. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I hope I didn't take it down. All right, let me put this back on the screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. I'm gonna be playing around with this screen. It's here. I'm trying to remember, I opened that. That was the list, the newspaper. It was another thing. Hold on 1 second, y'all. That's the sheriff's office. Foreclosure office. Auction. Give me 1 second. All right. This is what I found. Sorry, guys. I wanted to keep y'all stimulated with something on the screen, but this is what oh, okay. Look at that. Hold on 1 second, guys. You know what I found? I made the mistake. I told you some people do that. It can happen. Look at that. I told you, dun 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 dun. Check it out. Look, when y'all look, this says Fulton County, right? Is this it? Which one am I showing you guys? Tax sale. The newspaper. This was the full health of the tax excess fund list. This is let me see something. Oh, they also advertised this at the sheriff office too. Okay, so this was the second one that I found. I was like, okay, this was interesting because usually they broadcast it on one particular website, but this is actually the Fulton County tax lien information on the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. Okay, and let's see, this is that's the 7-page list. Same information, but it's put in a different area. I want you guys to just realize that it's two different ones. Don't be confused. Sometimes it'll make you confused because what we just showed you was one, and then you start looking like, wait, there's another one. So we have two different ways that you actually can register on Fulton County tax lien sale in Georgia. So we clarified that. There is, I think, one more thing I want to show you before we get into a property. Okay. Because what we will be doing next week is that we're going to be doing a little bit of due diligence. We're going to disclose to you what is the actual process of closing the deal in Georgia. Okay. Because in any instance, when you're investing in any place, you want to know, what are you doing to get in and what are you doing to get out? So next week, that's what we're going to be doing, is showing you the end game of the tax lien process in Georgia. Okay. So just remember that. Now, I guess while we have time, we can look at some of these properties. And if you can, next week, if you would like, not only will we show you that, but we can show you how to pull up a deed. Okay. So that's what we're going to be showing you next week. So you can be getting ready for the tax lien sale that's happening coming up the first Tuesday of January. This is all for information and educational purposes only. People in other states, I even tell you to do this as a case study or any different place that I show you so you can understand the process. It's all about process. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. As a legal nursing consultant and a travel nurse for many years, I have lived by process. As long as I have a certain process on the way to approach something, it always made me be able to apply it to different sectors, just as long as you're flexible. Does that make sense? So next week, what we're going to be going into is going to be Monday. Is one, we're going to be looking for a deed for one of these properties, as well as we're going to show you the end game for how to invest in tax liens in Georgia. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm so open to show you this as an expert is because I don't want to hold any of information from you that will stop you from definitely getting started. But the most important thing that I want you guys to know is that you have to do your due diligence. There is a lot of important information that you should learn about the home prior to you actually going in and starting to invest. Okay. So let's see, can we get into one of these properties? Let's go in 204 Sim Street. Okay. We're going to pull up 204 Sim Street so we can get a look at what Fulton County has to offer. So it's 204 Sim Street. Bear with me. I guess it's Pimento, Fulton County. All right, let's get to it. We're just going to show you one property. We're coming to the 40-minute mark. We're going to keep it pretty simple today because, again, this is going to be a build-up information. I want you guys to digest a lot of the heavy information that I share with you guys and do it yourself. So next week when we come and we show you the end game of how to close on Georgia tax liens, what are you supposed to do, and how to look for a deed. I'm going to give you a little bit of the due diligence. I want you guys to try this at home. Okay, so we pulled up Sim Street. Just want to see how it looked, to see what they had to offer. Most likely, this probably is sold, I would assume. But this is, wee. It's need a little fixer upper, baby. Now, if y'all from Atlanta, y'all know this is basic. If y'all not from out here, y'all like, woo. But this is, Atlanta homes is pretty small, but the cost of them is, the value is pretty high, especially when they're in a metro Atlanta area. So I'm not sure about this particular home, but what we'll do is if we use this home and go look for the deed, we're going to use this home, 203 Sim Street. We're going to look for the home. We're going to look at the area. We're going to, okay, let me make sure that I write this down. Okay, because I want to make sure we follow up correctly. And we're going to see if it's in an opportunity zone. Why is that? Because even if you invest in a property that may look like this, if it's in an opportunity zone, that means that one, you have other investors in the property, in the area. Two, there is basically there's this incentive program to bring investors in to build the area up. So that means that it's funding or types of programs, especially for issues that are prominent in the area. Let's say that they may have a roofing program, that helps you as the investor help rebuild the roof, or You hold the home for 5 years and you get this type of tax break. It can be so many different things when it comes to opportunity zones because they are actually community based, and that community has the right to construct their program the way they want to. So we're going to go into opportunity zones in Fulton County. We're going to look for the deed for this particular property. I will just show you where to look at for it. I will not show you how to examine the deed. That's what you learn in the course, because I teach people how to examine the deed and look for issues. And then we're going to tell you about the end game. Okay. So by next week on Monday, you'll be able to wait for the list to come out for the next month if you are interested. Go get that list and then start doing what you need to do in real time, because we're actually sharing the information with you. Now, let me see. I know this wasn't the best picture. Let me see if I found another one that's on the list. I gotta do Atlanta a little bit better. Atlanta over there look a little rough and tough. Let me see if I find another one. 634 Shannon Parkway. Park 18C. What is that? Then they have one Shannon Park 25A, the same address. Back to back. So that tells me, let's see what that is, y'all. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up because that may tell me that that's a developer, someone who owns more than one home. What is it? Shannon Parkway 25A. Fulton County, Georgia. Hold on. Okay. It's a better picture. I do apologize, y'all. I kept the screen. Look, I just wanted to do a little research. Look at that. This is one of the addresses on the list. Let's just go to the list. I'm going to show you real quick so y'all can know I'm not shucking and jiving. And you're like, she didn't show us the list. This is the list. This is 6354 Shannon Parkway. We doing 25A. Okay. So I found it and it looks better than the last property. Okay, guys. You're going to have to give Atlanta some credit. There we go, babes. So this right here is $69,000. Now we'll have to determine what is the back taxes on this particular property, but we're just doing the visual to even see do we like it. And it looks pretty nice. Can you guys see it? Is it good on the screen? Let's go through it. It's not too big. Oh, that's different. As a renovator, I can see some potential, in this little home. Definitely needs a lot of upgrading. At least I'm going to say 15 to 20,000. What do you think? Depending on the back taxes for this property. Let's say the back taxes is $4,000, and then you put $20,000 in renovation, because inside looks more cosmetic. And I'm just talking, well, that looked like mold on the floor right there. So that may be something you see right there. That's some of the things you need. I'll be having eyes. I was like, whoa, look like water damage. You can just look and see. And you can estimate like, hey, it's a water damage. That's going to cost me like $10,000, $5,000, or $5,000 to get fixed possibly. So you want to add like 25,000 and you for your renovations, and you spend $4,000, so you're already at 29. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but the value is 69 right now. So you still have a $40,000 or so equity that you may can obtain. Okay, they put a new refrigerator in there. When you look outside, it doesn't look as bad, and that's what really catches me, because yes, we're interested. The last property that we looked at, the roof was terrible. So these are some of the things that you want to look at initially. No matter if you're a tax lien investor, you're a tax deed investor, you're a foreclosure investor, you have to do your due diligence. That's the most important part. This is what we stress here. Okay. So We've been on for about 42 minutes. I'm going to look. How do you find out the prices? The PDF doesn't have the prices. So I did just show you how you find the prices is that PDF right there. What you will have to do is one, that's another part of your due diligence. Okay, I don't want to give it to you. What you would do is go to the tax assessor website of Fulton County. Once you go to the tax assessor website, you will put that actual number. Let's show you the number up there. Usually it asks you for the parcel number or it is going to ask you for the homeowner's information. And because you don't have the you don't have the homeowner's information right this second, you can use this tax parcel ID, which is an identifier across the board. So you'll use that identifier and go to the tax assessor's office and look at the person's tax bills. And at that point, you will have to do about a guesstimate to what they owe because these are monthly. So because they're monthly, you shouldn't have too much of a build-up. Now, if you were doing one for let's say a state that do yearly tax lien sales, and you go to the assessor's office and you say, hey, I need to find out how much this tax back taxes may be, because in their list they didn't show it. Some assessors do, but in their list they didn't show it. You will look at the last tax bill, kind of go back a few years to see if there were changes, and guesstimate based on that how much or how long, or at this point is a year. It has to be a year because that state has a year, and you may times that by 12 and say, well, okay, this may be the actual price they're going to. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Or I mean, let me backtrack. You don't times that by 12. That should be the amount it should be if, and I'm correcting myself, I do apologize. I was thinking about something else. The amount you'll see on the tax assessor bill for that year will be the amount that you owe, or the person owe, that you may pay, plus interest and fees. So you'll guesstimate that. Okay, that's what I want to say. You can go back and look at the other assessed years. I do apologize for the mistake. I had to catch myself. But you will see the fluctuation of how much the home was taxed. If the price value is going up, that'll be part of your assessment when you're looking through the tax assessor's office as well. You'll look for the base amount of how much the land value is versus the structure, and that'll give you an idea of how much it'll be to rebuild this home. Does that make sense? The land value can be $6,000-7,000, but with the structure on it, it makes it $150,000. So you know the cost of rebuilding that total home in the cases of a catastrophe, probably $150,000, and that's insurance wise. But that's the full home. Okay, so that's when you're starting to look like, okay, repairs, what I may have to put in. All of this is when you're starting to look. So if that clarified it for you, I do apologize. I had to mix it. I said times 12, and I'm like, no. That tax assessor bill will be the base amount, which you can expect is going to be up for auction, plus the interest and fees. Does that make sense? So, okay. Next week, I'm gonna have to show y'all. Every time if somebody asks me a question, I'm going to show y'all the tax assessor's office of Fulton County, okay? So I can bring it to life to what I'm talking about. So what we're going to be doing is bringing this broadcast to a close. We're going to be live on Monday at 5 p.m. We're going to be doing the next part of the Fulton County. I want you guys to do your research. We looked into 203 Sims Court, and we also looked into 6354 Shannon Place 25A. We want to remember those because I'm going to come back and we're going to be looking for those deeds. I'm going to show you where to find the deeds. We're going to see if these properties is under opportunity zones. And we're also going to explain the end game to you guys of how to close the deal or what to expect in Georgia, because it's pretty simple. I.e., if there's not a person inside of the home, and then you'll probably have to do an extra step. And also, last but not least, because you asked that question, I want to show you where you can find the last tax bill at if you happen to come across a list like this that does not have the price on it. And that's at the tax assessor's office, okay? And it should be online for you. You shouldn't have to request it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them under the video. I am open to answering those questions. Again, everything that I have showed you was what you will learn at an actual in-person tax lien seminar. Yes. Miss Lashley, the real estate legal consultant, is cutting people at the throat. Why? You know why? Because after many individuals go to these seminars, they are not totally educated that there is more due diligence to do. And then they end up jumping in, going to the tax sale, finding the property, doing everything that I just showed you. And then there's an issue of transferability. There's a home occupied issue. There's an issue where the deed was not documented correct. It could be so many things. There's an issue that there is a big lien on the property, and now you have to pay it or satisfy it through an administrative action. This is what I show you to do. So, yes, Lashley, the tax lien lady, your legal real estate consultant, is blowing the lid off of every tax lien seminar that they have on the market right now. What I have shown you is what they will show you. But what I have for you is now for you to do your due diligence and protect yourself. Instead of you having to consult with me, you guys will already have the keys that you need. Let me give you an example. Pre-title search. This seminar consists of about 2, 4, 6 videos of more than 45 minutes to teach you everything from A to B to C, well, A to D to C to D to Z, just step by step, very detailed, honestly, of how to approach doing your due diligence. It tells you where to find a deed, how to read a deed, how to look for issues, how to mitigate the issues, the different type of deeds to look for. If you have, what did we say? If we have a quick claim deed, that is something that you don't want to touch because you know there would be maybe issues. Maybe the person don't even own it. You can look at that prior to you even going to the tax lien sale. This is what these seminars are for. Okay, so that's a pre-title search, which is basically doing the due diligence in the foreclosure seminar. This foreclosure seminar offer information related to the foreclosure process, not investing in foreclosures, because investing in foreclosures is literally just going to the steps and doing the same thing the tax lien investors do. It's pretty simple, you know. But what that goes to say, it comes with the same risk that they can have liens, litigations, issues with transferability because it may not have all the parties who have rights to the property. These are the things that I show you. We also show you how to cross-reference maps. In this last seminar I'm going to show you right here is the GIS and land survey map seminar. It shows you how to cross-reference the GIS map, the parcel that we didn't show you a parcel map, but you can look at that at the assessor's office, as well as you can cross-reference with the Google map. GIS map is the most important factor of this seminar because it's hard to navigate. And every state and usually almost most counties have their own way of using these interactive GIS maps. So we actually give you a few resources that are very easy to navigate, that deals with a lot of counties across the United States, as well as we give you the idea of how GIS maps actually work. So you can kind of navigate the different ones because they can be complicated. But when you look at GIS maps, and I'm going to just go off the screen, what it does is give you a real-time view of land mass. Let's say you're investing in the mountains. Google is not going to show you that. The GIS map is going to give you the most up-to-date information because it's intertwined with the zoning office and the county's information. Does that make sense? So those are 3 seminars that we actually offer to help you do your due diligence. So you don't just go to these sales and then get stuck with the situation you have to bail yourself out of. Okay, so I want to say thank you so much for being with Lashley. I hope you have a great evening. Please look forward to some posts that we will be posting. Please join us on Instagram as well if you would like to see a replay. And until then, We're going to see you on Monday. Make sure that you do your due diligence.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.